Is there somebody in the West Virginia running back room that no one's really talking about and probably should be? I think so. We're going to talk about that man here today on Between Ears. What is up, everybody? Skylar Callahan here with another episode of Between the Ears. And before we get started, I do want to make a note. Yes, I know I said we were going to do the Big 12 power rankings on Sunday. And then I started getting way too deep into the research, and I'm taking this way too seriously for whatever reason. So I promise we will move this Big 12 power ranking show to this upcoming Sunday. We will definitely have it there. You should see on my desk right now, I've got papers all over the place of handwritten notes down on every single team. That took me the better part of the last really 3 or 4 days. I did a lot of deep searching, and it's going to help me too to make my season predictions for WVU. So it will go to use for more than just this, and it'll also help me kind of pregame my notes for the preview shows throughout the season as well. So went a little too deep on it, but hey, it happens. We'll reveal it on Sunday. We'll have the article out before Sunday, so you'll see it on the website. But we will go through or I'll go through and kind of discuss why I have West Virginia where they are in greater detail on Sunday here on Between Years. So that's that for that. Also, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here on our YouTube channel at West Virginia on SI. We greatly appreciate it. Helps us get a little bit of juice heading into the new season. It's hard to believe we are just a few weeks away from fall camp opening up in Morgantown. There's a lot of storylines going on, of course, when you have so many new guys. I think it's the unofficial count's like 72 or 74. I've heard both numbers thrown out there. I haven't actually gone through and counted every single one of them out. Sometimes when you do that, you'll lose count because you feel like you've looked at these names a million times, but it's a lot of people, okay? It's a lot of new faces. And when you have so many new players, there's going to be a handful of guys that we're not talking about right now that probably should deserve a little recognition. Now, whether or not that means they have a role, a big role, that is, who knows? But I guess you can make that case even in a normal year where you don't have this much roster turnover. There's always going to be typically one, two, maybe even three guys that kind of surprise you. And there's one player that I really didn't even have much on the radar. And I really didn't even think about it until recently when Phil Steele joined us on In the Gun, and he was talking to Jed and Wes about Kannon Katzer, the running back from Ferris State, Division II transfer, and that he was somebody that fans need to be watching out for. That caught my eye, or caught my attention, I should say. Whenever Phil Steele gives you something like that, there's something behind it. So obviously, Phil goes and talks to every college coach, or at least most of them around the country, to help piece together his college football preview magazine, which is out, by the way. Make sure you go get it. It's great stuff, super in depth, best out there, most accurate. Make sure you go get it. And he did talk to Rich Rodriguez. So from my understanding in these conversations, he's getting intel. He's kind of piecing together the depth chart. Obviously, coaches probably aren't going to just hand him over a sheet of paper and say, here, this is what the depth chart's going to look like. But he can kind of form his own opinions. And the fact that he had Kannon Katzer, I believe, is the third running back on that depth chart, ahead of Tye Edwards, ahead of Dior Hubbard. I believe it was third. Could be wrong. But he had him third on there, maybe fourth. And he even made it a point to say, watch out for this Kannon Katzer kid. And when he first committed, I was scratching my head kind of at the decision behind it. I can't remember exactly the timeline of who was in at the time, who was committed, who they were pursuing in the running back room. But I feel like most of what they were going after was already in place, or at least the momentum was there with certain guys. So for Kannon Katzer to make this jump, he's joining a running back room that's got Jahiem White, Jaylan Knighton, Tye Edwards, Dior Hubbard, The list goes on. Sincere Bowers, who I think could be another guy that we could be talking about here today, and it would deservingly be worth that talk. Very speedy JUCO running back that's coming up, making some noise. But for him to find a role in this offense, it's not going to be easy. I mean, Jaheim's going to have a major workload on his hands, but Jaylan Knighton is, I mean, he's talented. Like, I don't know that a whole lot of Mountaineer fans really understand how good of a 1-2 punch that West Virginia has in White and Knighton. They are, I mean, this is a guy that played significant time at Miami, at SMU. He's going to contribute. He's going to be a big part of this offense, and he's going to have some big games. That's just the truth of it. So my question has been this whole time: who's going to be that third horse in that room? My assumption, based on experience, based on body type, based on running style, was Tye Edwards makes a lot of sense. With Jahiem White and Jaylan Knighton, you have more speedy, shiftier backs that are more elusive, kind of go side to side. Jaylan Knighton's obviously not Jahiem White, but he's kind of in that vein a little bit more than he is in Tye Edwards. Tye Edwards, 6'2", 235 pounds, 240 pounds, however you want to measure him out. Huge physical back, likes to get downhill. My assumption would be that he would be RB3, handling the short yardage goal line situations. Now that very well could still be the case, but is he the third guy in normal down and distances, or is that going to be Kannon Katzer? Is it going to be Dior Hubbard? Could it be Sincere Bowers? I don't know. There's so many different ways that they could play this, and they could rotate all these guys in. I wouldn't be surprised. Rich Rod loves to use as many players as he can, and he's got a whole lot of options in that running back room. But with Kannon Katzer, since Phil Steele gave us that little hint, let's go and look at what he did at Ferris State this past season. 15 games, he ran for 1,128 yards and 11 touchdowns, averaged 75.2 yards per game. And oh yeah, he also ran for 97 yards on the way to winning a national championship against Valdosta State, 49-14 in the D2 national title game. So he shows up in big games. And the one thing that from the clips that I have seen, it's not like there's this abundance of clips out there from his time at Ferris State. There is some stuff. He runs hard, and he's not huge. He's, 5'9"? Yeah, 5'9", 190 pounds. I mean, he's kind of in that short, compact kind of build, similar to Jahiem, but he runs hard. He's got speed, pretty shifty. He can move. There's stuff to like there. Now, could he be somebody that they peg in the slot at times? I could see that. Could he be somebody that they'd like to get on the field at the same time as Jahiem and have two backs in the backfield? I could see that. There's a lot of different ways that he could be utilized in this offense, but I'm struggling to figure out where his role is going to be. Like I said, with Jahiem White and Jaylan Knighton, you have to think Tye Edwards is going to get a fair share of carries as well, just again because of that different style of running that he brings, that physicality. That's something you have to have. You don't want Jahiem White on 3rd and inches or 4th and inches or 4th and 1 taking those hits when you have a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", 235, 240 pounds on the sideline. You put that guy in to handle those things. So I don't know what exactly his role is, but there's something here with Kannon Katzer. If Phil Steele says something, you better pay attention. Just from past history, there's a lot of things that Phil's told us over the last, what has it been, 2 years that we've had him on the In the Gun podcast, and he's been right. And it's not just about WVU. It's about every little thing that he's thrown out there in regards to matchups, players to watch. He knows his stuff. Now, is this meaning Kannon Katzer's going to surpass Jaylan Knighton and be RB2 and rush for 700 yards? Yeah, that might be a bit of a stretch. Not saying it can't happen, but I think to temper expectations, I think RB3 rushing for 400 some yards, that's certainly, within the ballpark. I don't think that's out of reach or anything like that. And if he can do that on top of what Jaylan Knighton and on top of what Jahiem White and on top of what Tye Edwards can do in his package of plays, West Virginia's got one of the better running back units in the Big 12. And I'm going to be doing another article on that here in the next couple of days, ranking the top running back duos. West Virginia, just because of Jahiem White and Jaylan Knighton, are going to be pretty high up there. But if I were to have done the entire running back room in the Big 12, I mean, it's hard to not say West Virginia's not in the top. I'm looking at all these sheets of paper I got here with all these running backs. Probably top three for sure, maybe higher. I mean, they've just got so much depth and elite players at the top of that room. So we'll see what Kannon Katzer can do. But he's a home run hitter. He can run in between the tackles. He can bounce it wide. I mean, he can literally do everything that Rich Rodriguez would like for him to do. And the fact that he has kind of that little jitterbugness to him that's again similar to Jahiem. He's the similar build as Jahiem. Maybe he's a guy that he gets thrown into the game to get Jahiem off the field, and you still have those characteristics and those traits on the field. So there's gonna be a chance, I think, for Kannon Katzer to make some noise. It's obviously going to start in fall camp. If he has a strong fall camp, wouldn't be surprised to see him crack that third running back spot or in that top rotation of backs. So we'll see what happens. Also, wanted to note real quick too, he had a 200-yard game, and catch this, in a 78-17 win over Central Oklahoma. My goodness, those poor souls. 78 points, over 200 yards given up to Kannon Katzer. What a day for that defensive coordinator. So that'll do it for us here today on Between Ears. Make sure, again, you hit that like and subscribe button on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI. We greatly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode here on Between Ears.